So basically what you're going to want to do is just turn auto updates off. That way you know it's working and it's going to continue to work. We'll talk about it right after the jump. And I'm back. So first things first, before I begin, I want to give a big shout out and thank you to all my patrons on Patreon. Thank you guys so much. You rock. And if you want to become a patron and help the cause and also get some stuff in return, like, every time I sell gear, it goes to my patrons first. And of course, there are also the Dolby Atmos demo files, the IMAX enhanced files, and coming next week are the DTS:X demo files from the DTS:X 2017 demo disc. So make sure you click the link down in the description and become a patron today. So what we're talking about today is firmware updates and how when something gets updated, something might change and basically kind of mess up your system. So my advice to you guys is just turn auto updates off on all your devices, TVs, AV receivers. I got this DJ gear here that's connected to the Wi-Fi. Turn that off. And even your computers, especially if you are a creative professional or someone that relies on their computer to work all the time, definitely turn auto updates off. And I'll give you some good reasons why. Okay, so example number one. One of my longtime viewers, long-time patron, his name is David. He just got a brand new OLED. He got the LG C10 and he's stoked about it. He was super excited. One day he messaged me and he said, hey, something went wrong with my OLED. I'm not getting Dolby Vision. And it turned out that he had auto updates on because I think that's the default. And the update occurred, and when the update occurred, the update turned on FreeSync as default. We all know when FreeSync is on, then Dolby Vision is disabled. Now, if you didn't know that, cool, now you know. And if you have a C10 and you do have auto updates on, you might want to go check because he was trying to watch something on Netflix and he noticed there was no Dolby Vision. It was just standard HDR and he was like, hey, what's going on here? And he went through all kinds of different settings trying to figure out what was going on, and the bottom line was when the update finished, FreeSync was on by default and then just totally negated Dolby Vision. So if you have a C10 and you're watching Netflix from the built-in app and you're wondering why there's no Dolby Vision, it could be that FreeSync is on, so make sure you guys check that. Now, this doesn't just happen for TVs, this also happened to my AV receiver as well. So I believe it was back in 2018, I had the Denon X4400H AV receiver, and it was about October, and there was an update. I didn't really know that it happened. So sometime after the update, I went to go play Call of Duty, and I went to my menu in the LG that I had at the time to make sure I was in HDR game mode, and I noticed I was in game mode, but it wasn't HDR game mode. So I was kind of like, okay, what's going on here? So I went into the 4K TV details of the Xbox One X, and this is what it was at the time. And I normally get all green check marks, but I saw like the red, the yellow, and it was just not normal. And I was like, okay, what's going on here? And so it turned out that in that update, Denon had added a new setting into the video setup page, and it was called 4K enhanced mode. And it was basically, either it's 4K enhanced mode or it's standard. And the default was set to standard, which meant nothing was getting HDR. Xbox One X, any kind of 4K Blu-ray player, in my case the Oppo 203, and my Apple TV 4K. Everything was going through the AVR, and for however long that was, maybe 1 week, 2 weeks, I wasn't getting any HDR at all. So finally, somewhere in January or February of 2019, I released a video, and the comment section was hilarious because there were so many people that had no idea their HDR was turned off. And they're like, oh my gosh, I've had no HDR for the past like 5-6 months. So it was kind of interesting, like we all experienced it. And in the later versions of the AV receivers, like the 6500 or the 4500, that 500 series, they all came with the 4K enhanced mode set by default to 4K enhanced. Now with the 2020 AVRs from both Denon and Marantz, they have it as 4K/8K enhanced, and the default is 4K enhanced. So we don't have to mess around with that, but that was another experience that I have where if we keep the auto update on, we just don't know what's going on. Like, you don't see any release notes unless you go to their website and check it out. So definitely another reason why you want to keep auto updates off. So right about now, you're probably wondering, hey, Technodad, so then what do I do? Basically, my best advice for you guys is if your TV or whatever device it is working, don't update it. I mean, if you really need to, just disconnect it from the internet. If you have all the features that you want that are working, just let it work. Let it work. Now, if there is a feature that you want to update to so that you have maybe the latest gaming features or whatever the case may be, just wait. Because sometimes they add the gaming features and then eARC breaks. That has happened so many times, I cannot even count. So just be careful, be aware. Look at the Facebook groups, look at the forums. There's gonna be chatter if like the firmware update breaks something. So you will know, you can read it, you can find out about it online. I'd say turn off auto updates and just be careful which firmware updates you want to put onto your device. Well, that's pretty much it. Hope you guys liked the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Peace.